YouTube, what is up, you beautiful bastards? We're here today, we're going to do another tier list, as you can see down below in the title. Doing part 2. This is our solo queue Pokemon Unite tier list, now that Rank Season number 1 has ended, and, or is close to ending. I don't know when this video is going up, I'm recording it before it's over. My opinions have been finalized on who I think the good Pokemon are, the bad Pokemon are, especially when solo queuing, because I solo queued for pretty much my whole Unite career so far. I only started duo queuing with my brother when I got to Master, pretty much. Sorry, that's not technically true. I got to Ultra 5 3 Diamonds, and then I started duo queuing with my brother. Sorry. So, that said, go ahead and switch us on over to this screen here. And here we are. As you can see, if you watched the last tier list video, I deleted one tier, the very, very, very niche pick tier. And the reason I deleted that tier is, if a Pokemon's that niche, you shouldn't pick it when you're solo queuing. Alright? Because there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee that you're going to get your niche in a solo queue game. So, without further ado, the first Pokemon, as you can see, still up at the top. Broken, not fair, please nerf, Greedent. Pick it. Until this Pokemon gets nerfed, it should be in every single game. Unless you're a man of honor. I'm not. Next up, Absol. You're here. This Pokemon is not good. Don't pick this Pokemon. If you're solo queuing it, you're going to cause yourself more stress than happiness. And why would you do that to yourself? Stop it. You're beautiful. Stop stressing yourself out. It's stupid. Don't do it. Ninetails. I think she's still here. I think Ninetails is another very good solo queue Pokemon. I think she's good. I think it's a good Pokemon. I'm a stan for Ninetails. That's all there is to it. I really like this Pokemon. I think it's really good. I don't think it's ever going to be bad unless they fundamentally change how she works. I think it's good. And if you're a solo queue attacker player, you should know how to play it. Charizard, I think he's here. I think Charizard goes here. I think he gets demoted if you're solo queuing. I still think it's good. Still think it's worth picking, especially if you see like who you're gonna be laning with before you know. But if you're a Charizard player and you're like, do I want to play Charizard this game? I think there's certain Pokemon you want to see on your team before you pick it. But I still think it's a good Pokemon. I think it's worth being able to play. If you are a Charizard stan, go more power to you. It's awesome. Cinderace. I think she's here. I think she's going to be the top of this tier, maybe. But I think it's up here. I don't think it's better solo queuing than it is in a 5-stack. I don't think it's worse solo queuing than it is in a 5-stack, though. Which says something about the strength of a Pokemon, if I think it's just as good solo queuing as it is in a 5-stack. It's good for different reasons in solo queue versus a 5-stack. As a 5-stack, you can have someone back you up in lane when you're weak. You know, so like you can kind of shore up your shortcomings. As a solo queue, in a solo queue game, you have a lot more potential to snipe objectives because people are bad. And even in Master Tier, people who are stomping a game go and hit Zapdos for no reason, and then you're a Cinderace player, so you can just walk up and ult it and then go dunk 50 and you win the game. You can tell this has happened, can't you? Cramorant! Still a good Pokemon. I still like it. I think it's very strong in lane. The only problem is what makes Cramorant good is that it dumpsters lane, and which makes the person you're with better, if that makes sense. Like if Cramorant lanes with like a Garchomp, right? Garchomp's gonna have a really good game because he has a Cramorant, who I think is one of the strongest Pokemon before 4 minutes. So like, you're a steroid for whoever you're laning with. It's similar to an Eldegoss, but you have more solo play potential. You are similar to an Eldegoss in that you're a steroid for your lane partner, but you're a steroid in the sense that you hit things hard. Whereas Eldegoss is a steroid in the sense that she's just going to let you farm and get huge. So, Crustle, ironically, I think he's better in solo queue than he is in 5-stack. I think he's down here. He's probably the bottom of this tier. But there's definitely some plays that you can make as a solo queue Crustle player. I think you're going to have a hard time solo carrying your games. But you can definitely create openings for your teammates. So even if you're playing with worse players, it's very easy to look at Crustle and go, oh, he's using like X Scissor and follow him, right? Like what Crustle wants to do in every game is pretty obvious. Like once you see the moves he took, it's obvious what he wants to do. And although that makes it easier to play against, it also makes it easier for your teammates to play with. So there's a little bit of a dichotomy, if you will, there. You know, being able to read what someone is doing is good, ultimately, because it makes it easier to play around. And so I think Crustle goes here. I think he's better in solo queue than he is in 5-stack. But as I said in the last video, if you're 5-stacking, why are you picking Crustle? Pick something better. Pick a better defender. If you're solo queuing, it can work. But if you're 5-stacking, don't pick a better character. Eldegoss. He's down here. Eldegoss goes down here. If you're solo queuing, don't pick Eldegoss. You're putting way too much faith in your teammates. I say this as someone who has solo carried a game as Eldegoss. I was the highest level on my team. This was before I took XP share. I was the highest level on my team. I was kind of carrying fights. I stole a Zapdos at one point, and I stole Zapdos and went and dunked 50 immediately after, and that 100 is what let us win the game. There is play potential. You can make it work. But like Absol, stop it. Get some help. Don't do that to yourself. You're going to cause way more stress for yourself than is necessary. Just pick something better. Pick something else. Stop it. Garchomp. Garchomp, ironically, I think is better than Charizard in solo queue. And here's why. I think you can be a selfish piece of shit if you're solo queuing. And people will forgive you. So as a Garchomp player, you can just take all the farm that you run into. If there's another Pokemon in your screen, you kill it. And people will kind of just be like, okay, if they're solo queuing with you. And so you can kind of just get farm if you're solo queuing. In a team, if you're playing as a 5-stack, I actually think it's harder for Garchomp to be successful. I think it's easier for you to be successful as a solo queue because you can just be a selfish piece of shit and then carry the game in the last 2 minutes of the game. I think you can play Garchomp solo queue. In fact, I think he's up here. I think Garchomp was made for the solo queue Andes out there. I think Garchomp is a solo queue character. It's much harder to pull off in a 5-stack where like everybody's working together. But if you want to just be a greedy piece of shit and just take all the farm, you can carry a game with Garchomp. If you just disregard the well-being of everyone around you, you can crush with Garchomp. Much like Cynthia. I love her. Gardevoir, down here. Worst Pokemon to solo queue. Never, ever, ever, ever pick this Pokemon if you're solo queuing. Never pick this Pokemon if you're solo queuing. It's just not good enough. It's just not good enough. You rely... it has the opposite problem of Eldegoss. You're relying on the fact that someone is going to support you in lane. Because you're weak as shit. You don't really get strong until like level 7. So you're like relying that you're gonna have a steroid to help you out. So just don't pick this character. If you want to pick Gardevoir, pick Garchomp instead. Gengar's still down here. Gengar's fucking garbage. Don't ever pick this character. He needs buffs, like really, really bad. I actually think he's the worst character in the game right now. He's just not good. Don't pick this character, ever. And yes, I'm talking to you, Chillrog. Greninja, up here. Arguably, the best solo queue character. You can pick this character every single game, and if someone takes jungle from you, that's fine. You can go to lane. You're still gonna have a good game because your character is busted. It's not busted. But if you're comfortable with this character and you can actually outplay your opponents, you're gonna have a good game. You're gonna have a good time. Greninja's a good character. Greninja's actually what I use to carry myself through Ultra. I was struggling to win games as Wigglytuff and Blisssey once I got past like Ultra 3. So I started playing Greninja jungle and I was winning every single game because I knew I could outplay my opponent. I knew I was better because, and I that sounds kind of full of myself. I've played Dota for 10 years. Dota 2, League of Legends, and Smite. I've dabbled in all of them. My main game is Dota. But yeah, I'm not new to MOBAs. I've been playing Dota for like 10 years in January. I understand how the games work. I understood very early on like the macro map movements that should be happening in Pokemon Unite. So I know even still at like 1300 and above Master Tier, I'm still having games where I know I'm better than my opponent. And so what I did in Ultra Tier is I started picking Greninja because I know that I'm good and I can outplay you. And I did. And I won most of those games. If you know that you can outplay your opponent, just start insta-picking Greninja. He's that good. If you are good enough to outplay the opponent, you're going to have a good time. Pick Greninja. He's a good Pokemon. Lucario! Another just absolute, like, insta-pick every time character. This character's busted. He's very good. You can take all of his moves and pop off with him. Just the ability to snipe, to just walk up slowly. Did he walk up slowly and up smash? But yeah, just the ability to walk up slowly and just punch Dreadnought and take it. Or Zapdos, or, you know, anyone. That's good. Not to mention the other skill set is also very good. Like, he's just a good Pokemon. Machamp. Ironically, I think Machamp is better in a solo queue game than he is in a 5-stack game. Similar to Garchomp. Because I think you can just be greedy, take farm, and pop off as Machamp. I'm going to put Machamp here. I think he's a solid solo queue Pokemon. You're definitely going to have some games where it feels bad and you're like, oh man, I don't feel like I'm doing anything this game. But that's fine. Not only does Unite have a semi-decent matchmaking system, like the actual matchmaking system, the rank system is different than the matchmaking system, don't get me started. Unite has a semi-decent matchmaking system, which means if you have a bad game with Machamp, you're going to have a good one later on, I promise. It evens out. I promise you it evens out. If you want to play Machamp, if you think this character is really cool and you want to play it, play it. That's what I do. I pick the character when I'm like, man, I want to play Machamp. Machamp is my I'm drunk and I want to play Unite Pokemon. I think this character is so fun. If you want to play it in solo queue, play it. You'll have some good games, you'll have some bad games, but you know what? There's a forgiveness system in this game, so you don't even have to have a 50% win rate. So just play Machamp, you'll be fine. It's fine. Mr. Mime! If you want to be a support player, I think Mr. Mime's the best solo queue pick. And I say this as a support player. In fact, I'm going to put him here. Because the thing with Mr. Mime is you can just dumpster the lane and then give your lane partner a free game. Like, Mr. Mime is that good as a support. Should add a disclaimer, stealing or leeching jungle is not advised. It's a team game, alright? Play as a team. Don't say these guys are bad. Like, no, you need to play with your teammates. The second you start blaming teammates and saying, oh, these guys are going to make me lose, the second you start doing that, you're not going to improve. Ever. You will never improve if you just sit there and harp on your teammates' mistakes and blame them for everything. So, like, play with your team. I don't care how bad they are. Play with your team. That's how you're going to win the game. But Mr. Mime's really good. Mr. Mime's really good. You don't have to take like a single last hit to actually have an impact. He does a lot of damage, especially in lane. Late game, his damage is still good. He's a really good ultimate. He's a good Pokemon. If you want to be a support main, but you want to be able to do stuff by yourself and not have to like follow a character around, pick Mr. Mime. I don't play him because he's not my playstyle, but he's a good Pokemon. He's a really good Pokemon. Pikachu's up here. Pikachu's an extremely good solo queue Pokemon because of his strength in lane. I said this in the last video, but he just gets a stun at level 1. He also has a stun later in the game if you take it. He has a lot of damage at every single stage of the game. He has some mobility. His ultimate's very good. He's just a good Pokemon. You're going to give your lane partner a good game. If you have an actual support, that's even better. Like if a Pikachu Blisssey lane right now is probably my favorite lane in the game. Because as a Blisssey, like, I have a Pokemon that's actually really strong, and so I don't have to, like, play hyper passive. Because, you know, like, it's just a good time. It's a good time. Pikachu's a good Pokemon. If you want to be like Ash Ketchum and just run around as Pikachu all day, do it. It's a good Pokemon. Slowbro's down here. Slowbro's still down here. I think I'd rather play Slowbro than any of these other ones. There we go. But yeah, he's down here. Slowbro's down here. Don't pick him in solo queue. You're gonna have a bad time. Just don't do it. He's just not good enough. He's just not good enough. Don't do it to yourself. Snorlax! He's up here. I'm gonna put him here. I think Snorlax is this good. In fact, there was a period of time where I thought Snorlax should be on every single team no matter what. They nerfed him a little bit since then, so he's fallen a little bit. But Snorlax is a very good solo queue Pokemon. He gives you everything you need in solo queue. He gives you team disable. He gives, you know, in heavy slam plus your ultimate. He has a get out of jail free card with his ultimate. If you get in trouble, you can just ult and stun people and you're fine. You have block, which is just fun. It's so fun to shove people around. Yawn is also really good. Just disable someone. He's just a good Pokemon. Damage. Tanks damage. He's good. He's just a solid mon. Great solo queue Pokemon. Gives you everything you need. Talonflame is up here. Talonflame's up here. Once again. If you're like me, and Talonflame was the first Pokemon you unlocked, and when you load into a game you're already hovering Talon, you can just press A. You can just go ahead and lock that shit in, because Talonflame is busted right now. He almost deserves to be up there with Greedent. Not quite, because I don't see... When I see that I'm against a Talonflame, I don't go, oh shit, this sucks. Like, I say that with Greedent, I don't say that against Talonflame. So that's the only difference there. Venusaur, ironically, I don't think is as good solo queuing as he is party queuing. And the reason for that is, if your lane partner is bad, you will have a bad lane. I don't think Venusaur is so weak that he's useless in lane, which is what I think about Gardevoir. But if your lane partner is not good, like if they're just straight up bad and like don't contest farm, they, you know, take your last hits, like that kind of stuff, it's not fun to play Venusaur in that game. I've had that game where like my support took every last hit, didn't go contest the other team's farm. We like took our farm and then sat in the bubble and waited for bees to spawn. Like, that game's not fun. And so like he's good. In fact, I might put him back here. I think he's a little bit harder to play solo queuing than Ninetails. Wigglytuff is up here. Wigglytuff is a very good Pokemon in solo queue if you take rollout. Do not take Sing if you're a solo queue player, because when you Sing, the Pokemon will wake up when they take, I think it's like over 100 damage, and every single Pokemon in this game has some sort of AoE abilities. So if you Sing more than one Pokemon, your teammate's just going to throw out AoE and then everyone's awake again. But that can't happen with rollout. With rollout, they get knocked up, but they're not actually knocked up so that things miss them. So it's a really, really good disable, because it knocks them up, but it's not the same kind of knock up that Blastoise and Snorlax have, where it makes them invulnerable, like it puts them over the Z-axis and moves miss them, you know? So they like, it's really good, It's a really good disable. It gives you a lot of survivability because it gives you a shield while you're rolling out. It refreshes your abilities. So like, I can't tell you how many times I've been sitting in bushes, someone walks by and I Dazzling Gleam, roll out to stun, Dazzling Gleam again, and then they're just dead. Like, I can't tell you how many times I get that. It's stupid. And the lower rank you are, the better this Pokemon is, because people are bad. And they assume that you take Sing. You know? So like at lower tiers, you could, I guarantee, even into Master it still happens. I guarantee you will get a kill with your first rollout usage, as long as you don't just give it away. Like, if you bait them in, and then use rollout, they'll go, oh shit, like he didn't take Sing, what the hell? And they might not even know what it does, and they'll just die. You kinda need to get level 4, and that's why I think she's like down here. In fact, I'll put her here. Her and Ninetails kinda have the same deal, where like, you're kind of weak until level 4. Once you get level 4, you're super strong. You need level 4. Which is why, like, this Pokemon I don't run XP share on, and I've been thinking about running it on Blisssey. I don't know yet, but yeah, this Pokemon I would never run XP share on, because you need level 4 to be good. Zeraora. Alright, he goes here, and once again, it's the same reason that I put him here last time. He's very good. He has some of the highest damage in the game, but if your team lets you just dive in by yourself, like if you're, one, if you don't have someone that initiates, or two, you're like, okay, this is a good fight, and you go in and your team's slow, you can just die. Like, it's super easy to misplay and feed with this character. It's really good, but it's also really easy to have a bad game. Honestly, it's kind of like Machamp and Charizard. If you want to play this Pokemon, like if you like this Pokemon's look, or like how it plays, and you want to play it every game, go ahead. I think there's better Pokemon for that, like Talonflame. But if you want to play this Pokemon every game, like, it's fine. You're going to have some really good games. You just might also have some really bad games where it feels like you didn't do anything. Blisssey, I think, is also here. I really like Blisssey. She's the other Pokemon that I play. It's like Wigglytuff, Blisssey, and Ninetails are the 3 Pokemon I have the most time on. I really, really like Blisssey. I think she provides a lot, but she suffers from Eldegoss syndrome a little bit, which is, you know, if you're solo queuing, you're relying pretty heavily on your teammates. You're not going to solo carry a game with Blisssey. In fact, she kind of goes here, because I think these Pokemon still can solo carry a game, but these two can't. You're not going to solo carry a game as Blisssey. You can make some pretty disgusting plays. You can pop off, like, I think everyone above Blisssey can solo carry a game. I just don't think they can. I don't think these two can. Still good, and like, I still pick it solo queuing. Blissy's a good support Pokemon if you have someone on your team that with a lot of CC. If you don't have someone on your team with a lot of crowd control, you should pick one of these other 2 supports. Blastoise, the man. He's up here. I think he's right there. I think this Pokemon is insanely good as a solo queue pick. Not very many people are going to contest you for the defender role, which is a big bonus. It's why Mr. Mime, I should explain this, Mr. Mime gets this slot instead of Blastoise in solo queue, because if you want to play Mr. Mime every single game, you can. Blastoise, though, you're not gonna get him every game because, well, one, people like Blastoise. I have a Pokemon card in my wallet of Squirtle. People love the OG Kanto starters, so that's the first thing. The second thing is he's just a good Pokemon, and he's good in the defender role. I think outside of Greedent, he's the best defender. That's the only reason he goes here and Mime goes up here. Otherwise, it'd be flip-flopped. But, because I do think he's a better Pokemon than Mr. Mime, but as a solo queue player, you're not going to get him every single game, whereas Mr. Mime, you'll get him pretty much every single game. Not much I can say about him that I didn't say in the first video, so go watch the first video. Mamoswine's down here again. Mamoswine's just bad. I said this in the last video, but he just doesn't have enough of any one thing. He needs to be slightly better. And Sylveon I'm going to put like right here. I think this is another Pokemon that, you know, when she has a good game, it's a super good game. When she has a bad game, it's still okay, which is kind of like the definition of this tier. In fact, he'll get demoted. Because I'm thinking about this tier, and I'm like, the definition of this tier is a good game is a really good game. A bad game is an okay game. Whereas these guys are like, a good game's a really good, like a very good game, like maybe better than these guys. But a bad game is fucking terrible. You feel so bad. That's these guys. And then these four are, you're not gonna have a bad game. A bad game does not exist for you. And then these guys are, a good game doesn't exist for you. There's never a good game for you. And that's our solo queue tier list. This one went way faster than the last one, largely because I said a lot of stuff in the first one that I didn't repeat in this one. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you should go back and watch the first one first. It's a little bit longer, but I go into a lot more detail about why certain Pokemon I think are good and better than others. So if you watch the first one, this one will make a lot more sense. The too long didn't read if you just skipped to this part of the video to see the finished tier list. Greedent's busted. These Pokemon are Pokemon that you can pick every single game and you will never have a bad game. These Pokemon are Pokemon that you can pick, and if you have a good game, it's a really good game. If you had a bad game, it's okay, like it's still playable. These Pokemon are Pokemon who, if you have a good game, it's a great game, and people are going to tip you at the end, or give you a thumbs up. If it's a bad game, it's a pretty bad game. And then these guys are Pokemon that, if you're playing solo queue, you're not going to have a good game. You're going to be sad the whole time. You're going to lose more than you win. You'll probably still rank up because of the way the rank system works in this game. But it's not worth it. You just save yourself the stress, alright? If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much. Thanks for being here. Go ahead and click subscribe down below so you can see when more of this comes. I've got a lot more content planned. It's a pretty new channel. But it's coming. It's coming. I'm recording. I'm recording like heck. All right, it's coming. Go ahead and check out my Twitch stream. The link's down below as well. It's Real Patch Thomas, just like it is here on YouTube. Check me out. I'm probably live. I stream as much as I physically can. I need sleep. Help me. I'm kidding. I love you guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for checking it out. And until next time, peace out. You're all wonderful people. Do wonderful things. Okay? Take care of yourselves and get out of here. Have a good one.